been a couple of months, but we're back on word of mouth. And this time we're in Corner Store Studios, and I am joined by none other than Kush Jones. Thanks for
Hello.
coming through. May I have your name and pronouns?
My name is Kush Jones. I go by he, him.
Thank you. So my first question for you today is, do you consider yourself a New Yorker?
Born in the Bronx, Albert Einstein Hospital. Went to high school, middle school, elementary, daycare in the Bronx. I had a green and an orange Metro card growing up. So, yeah, I consider myself a New Yorker.
Thank you. So, stemming from this, I understand your affiliation with Juke Bounce Work.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to understand how you got better connected to the genres of juke and footwork. And
Right.
so, what was your first exposure to the genre?
First exposure to the genre, I would say, was Traxman and RP Boo. Traxman just had a lot of music out and available, so that was some of the first stuff I was playing because it was abundant. And then RP Boo, he had this mixtape called Dude Off 59th Street, which that was some of like my first time hearing like juke and footwork. But the samples were unique from each of them, and the way that the music was produced was unique sounding. And then through their music, naturally you just want to find more of it. And I started just doing a deep dive and started my search in Chicago, but then realized like the music goes worldwide. But yeah, I'll say RP Boo and Traxman, those are like the first two artists I heard from the genre, and then started stepping out. And then the connection with Juke Bounce Work, that was SoundCloud. So SoundCloud, like 2013, it was just providing a lot of accessibility to different artists, different DJs. Many of which now you see them and they're all like doing their thing. They got careers rolling. So that's how I came into contact with Juke Bounce Work, just SoundCloud. Via the homie Swisher, DJ Swisher. He was out in LA already. So he connected with them first. He was playing a lot of my music at their parties, and they were kind of looking at the CDJ, like track ID, like who's that? And then we became friends. We got in contact, and that's how I ended up going out to LA.
So I guess as far as like juke and footwork would be concerned, like, was it like, where did your search begin? Like, was it like you were listening to the music at parties? Like, were you like on the internet, like in 20, like whatever year it was, what was the first exposure like that made you want to go into this deep dive?
Well, part of it was seeing the dance battles on YouTube. So in Chicago, they have battlegrounds. Since then, it's like a lot of other dance parties and other battles will pop up. Like they would battle at parties, but battlegrounds was specifically for footwork battles. So kind of like one-on-one, or crews would go against each other. So I saw a lot of those videos on YouTube, like Wallet Cam and Crossfire. He documents like a lot of footwork. He has his own channel and stuff as well, where he talks with a lot of the artists and DJs, producers, dancers. So I saw a lot of that content on YouTube. I hate using the word content. I watched a lot of those videos early on YouTube. And in New York City, we had our own kind of thing. Like D. Cole, he used to do like battles, but it was for light feet. So different genre, different sound, but the environment was the same. It was just like two crews coming together, kind of like battling and dancing. But it was like neighborhood, it was like community things. So yeah, I watched a lot of that, and I just put two and two together, and I kind of was like, well, that's sick. Like, they're doing that out in Chicago, and then we have our own thing kind of here in New York. And then fast forward today, it's like the footworkers are, like, dancing with light feet dancers. Like, I could go and see that they're, like, collaborating on events, like Creation. They came up to Millbrook Center to do, like, a footwork light feet collaboration, which, I don't know. That kind of thing, it just transpires like time and culture, like two of my worlds collided. So it's like nice to see that happening now.
That's really cool. I didn't know that about this dance community in New York at all.
Oh, Life Feet, yeah.
Yeah. What I guess how is the music different or similar from like that for footwork? Like, is there overlap?
I would say there's overlap because it's like very sample dominated. So there's a lot of like classic samples that you'll hear in footwork and juke, and then for New York City, like it was very like hip hop. Like Life Feet is very like hip hop oriented and influenced. So the best way I could put it is like you got like Webstar and they made like all these songs like Chicken Noodle Soup and like but it was like kids that were dancing to it. It was like street anthems. And in Chicago is the same way where like you could listen to the radio and there's certain juke tracks that you would hear that are like anthems like Back Up Off Me, you know, and then Back Up Off Me became shout out DJ Clint, you know, he made that track, but it's like Back Up Off Me became a hip hop hit with Dej Loaf. So that would be the overlap. I would say is like very sample oriented, but it was like music from the block, like a lot of party music, just music that people grew up with.
It's interesting, I think, having this conversation in 2025 because these were big songs like at the time, and it's, as you're saying, it's super regional, but I feel like when people talk about, you know, these particular genres nowadays, it's very much like, oh, like you're seeking it, like it's kind of hard to pair it as, oh, like existing in the same world as like, you know, where we were like 10 plus years ago, you know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of interesting to see it all get contextualized because I think there's such a greater conversation around like different kinds of music and whatnot nowadays with media and whatnot. So I feel like it's interesting to kind of see everything be so segmented, but honestly, it's very connected.
Yeah, I mean, music is music. It's like it's all connected. Like you can go to several parts of the world, they know what a kick drum is. You can go to several parts of the world, they know what synthesizers are and machines. I think the only thing that differs is like the way that music is created, but then also like the way that people get the idea out into the medium. So it's the same way like there was an era where, you know, you go to someone's house, they have an MPC. Everybody goes and uses that piece of tech or that piece of kit. But then now it's like you got Ableton, you got FL, you can send over a computer file. So music is always meant to be shared and there's always been a collaborative piece of it. But I guess like to contextualize it, you just have to be outside. Like both of those genres are from the hood, like it's outside music. You had to like grow up and you know, I feel like footwork and as well as like Light Feet music, it's very niche and specific, but if you meet the people from those communities and you ask them how they grew up, there's similarities in how they grew up. It's similarities in like, you know, we grew up listening to radio, like, oh, who was your favorite DJ on radio? What was the music that you was listening to? And, you know, some of the Chicago music made it over to New York and vice versa. Some of the hip hop that was going on here would make it out there. But yeah, I think in order to contextualize something, you have to experience it. And, you know, me as a New Yorker, I can never really tell you like what footwork in Chicago is like growing up. I just have my experience of it. But it made me say, I know if someone came to New York asking about Light Feet, I would like to be able to point you in the right direction. So I just made sure whenever I was doing my homework with these kinds of things, I just asked the right people, you know, what should I be listening to? Who should I be tapping in with? And I think that's better than just kind of running into something blind.
For sure. No, I completely agree. I mean, I feel like this almost seamlessly goes into your projects, Bronx Boy Rhythm 1 and 2, in that, because I was going to ask you, I came in thinking like, how do you show your regional pride? Because I understand this genre to be something that, you know, is emblematic of the Midwest. And so it's like, how do you bring New York into it? Because, you know, the first time I saw you play was around 3 years ago. It was actually with Tim Reaper. And, you know, you have a really large, you know, variety of music you play.
Yeah.
It's very hard to tell like what kind of genre you're going to play.
Right.
And so like, I think it's what I enjoyed about Bronx Boy 1 and 2 was that there was a mix, I'd say, among the genres of juke, house, and like techno. And it wasn't always going to be like one particular sound. So I think, you know, the question is more veering towards how do you bring your experiences into juke and footwork?
I mean, specifically for juke and footwork, like one of the first tracks I remember making was a song called Wavy, but I just sampled Max B. And that was like one of the first songs I put out, which a lot of what I sampled early on, it was like classic New York stuff, because there was a whole thing about like biting samples in Chicago. Like, just like, you know, I learned very early on, I won't say who, but I just learned like people used to get like they ass whooped for like taking a drum pattern. So like if you stole a specific drum pattern, it was like that was a no-go. So that was like one of my first lessons with sampling. It was kind of like, yo, sample some shit that no one else is going to touch. And again, regional-wise, it's like, you know, I appreciate Chicago music. I appreciate like footwork and juke. So when I was making some of my first tracks, I was like, let me just sample some shit that I grew up with. That way it's like, well, you know, you was sampling this. And I'm like, yeah, but you know nothing of this. Like, this is some New York shit. So I think it's good to be able to like show appreciation for music, but you have to be able to put your own spin on it. So I would say like my first tracks, like I made a song called Wavy and sampled Max B. It's kind of like a lot of shit talking on the song, but I took the original sample. There's a record I did called Streets, which I forget the original sample of the record, but I sampled it because Max B used it on a beat. And, you know, samples like I Walk the Streets Alone, I looped it up. It was on a record I put out called Momentum. I would just do little things like that where it's like, you know, why did you sample that? And it's like, because it speaks to me and who I am. So there's never any misconception when it's like, you know, I know there's a lot with like, if you're not from a place, it's like appropriating the genre. So I think when you go into something, you have to be able to have your own mark on it, your own stamp, and it has to be authentic to you. That way, if anybody ever questions the authenticity of what you're doing, you could kind of just point to like some real shit. Like, yo, I grew up with this. Maybe not the music, but my sample choice, like the way that I mix, the way that I DJ, like, yeah, I just think you have to do things that are true to you, no matter what genre or whatever you're participating in. You just have to be able to say, this is the reason why I chose this sample, and it speaks to me in this way. So that's why I did it.
So with that, one could say you're very intentional with like the way you build, you know, a song or like a mix or just like you're just intentional with moving through your musical choices.
I feel like I'm more intentional now on like the mixing, and because sometimes I get technical. Like, I'll sit down and be like, I really have to like figure out, you know, why is this clipping? Why does this sound this way? When I was making music first off, it was kind of like, yo, fuck it. I need to make as much music as possible. And it's kind of like, I have hard drives of music that I made. I just have a bunch of stuff on the computer. Sometimes it's drafts. Sometimes I looped up a sample. I never touched it. It's just sitting there. I think it's good to be able to do that. But as far as intention, the intent is always, I always say remember why you started. So the intention is always just to make music for me, music that I enjoy. And then if I can put it out, then it's a blessing that somebody likes it or somebody appreciates it or they feel how I feel on the song. So that's the only intention, just making stuff that I enjoy and appreciate. Yeah, there's times that I pick samples where it's like, it's definitely meta, like it's talking some shit on the record, but it's like, you know, nobody would really know what is going on unless I explain that, or it's like, why did you sample that? Like, I'll leave it at like 2016 music that I was making in 2016. It was like super emotional for me. So a lot of the records that came out during that period, definitely intentional. Definitely like there was a purpose when I sat down in that chair to kind of be like, I have to get this out. But yeah, I would say my intention is just always remember like why you started. So if you're making something, it should be for you. And then if other people enjoy it, then that's cool.
When it comes to your productions, so I like what I like to do is think about what my first experience was with the person's art who I'm like talking to is, and like I went back in my Bandcamp, and in 2023, there was this project called Initial Value. And I remember at the time, you had like way more music on your SoundCloud, Bandcamp.
Yeah.
And so my question to you is, was it intentional to like just get rid of
everything out? Yeah.
like any intention to bring them back? Like,
so yeah, it kind of was intentional because like a lot of people know me for the series like strictly for my CDJs, and it reached a point for me where like I don't know, like everybody was like, yo, you're putting out 40 volumes, like that's incredible. And I'm kind of like, yeah, but you know, I got other music I've been putting out as well. So while I didn't put out 40 volumes strictly for my CDJs, I put out like quite a fair amount of music, I would think. Like I put out 40 volumes worth of music. They just didn't happen to be called strictly for my CDJs. And I put music out in other places. But I just wanted to have people focus more on the fact that it's like it's music from me versus like this one project, this one thing. And yeah, I took the music down because it was kind of like, you know, I got mad other shit, like focus on the other records I put out. Like, I didn't want to get limited to one sound. Every time I would go somewhere to like play or perform or DJ, it would be like, oh, footwork set. And I'm like, yeah, that's a piece of what I do. That's a piece of what I enjoy and appreciate. And I try my best to like highlight those artists that, you know, I appreciate and admire and share their works, share my work. But I just kind of got tired of being put in this one pocket and feeling like I had to, you know, yo, I really like this one song you made. Can you play that? And I'm like, I made 100 other songs. Like, why can't I have the freedom to do that or share those songs? So yeah, I took the music down intentionally, and I got flooded with messages because people were like, yo, I had this in my cart. And yeah, I was gonna buy this next week. And I'm just like, yo, this record's been out for like 3 years. Like,
yeah.
But I get it. I'm not gonna be rude. Like you snooze, you lose. But it's like I should have the freedom to like move music around, or if I want to leave something up and want to take something down, or it's kind of like, yo, you know, you bought that when it first dropped, so that's you now. You have it, and you know, thank you for that. But yeah, sometimes I just think people should have the freedom, especially in this era where it's like everything's so content, and it's just like we're gonna digest it super quick. I could take a record down and then come back like 5 years later and be like, pop it back up, and people are like, yo, we never heard this before. And then there's like another 100 people that are like, oh yeah, I've been bought this. This is like ages. But that gets the conversation going. So I think if you have a lot of music and you just start pulling projects and kind of like making space for new things, it gives people an opportunity to hear the new things. And, you know, the people that supported it when it first dropped, they have it early. And then, you know, you can always come back and revisit. But that was my intention with that. Like, just wanted a conversation starter. And also, I just got tired of people limiting my work to like one series of work or one volume of work when I got stuff that I made myself, stuff that I made with others. So I just wanted to open up room for that.
Do you still find yourself pigeonholed into a genre-specific like corner, you know, or do you feel like there's a greater reception to, you know, the vastness of your work?
I feel that I can operate in any space I want to be in, whether creative or just like if I want to collaborate, if I want to do my own thing. And I think the people that allow me that space and admire like not only me, but in general, it's like if you admire artists, but they want to try something new, I think the vulnerability of trying something new, like the people that really respect that from an artist, they allow it, and they're just like, we're gonna support the art anyway because we like what you do, and we're gonna look at it from the lens of, you're growing versus like you're running away from the thing that I know you for. So yeah, I think you should be able to pursue like the music if you're inspired by it and you truly believe in what you're doing. I think you should be allowed to pursue that. There's people that are like, they have, I guess, more like liberty to do the thing because they're from the region or they make the sound and to each their own. But I don't think that is ever gonna defeat like somebody who is approaching something with passion and they actually care about it. Yeah, I think you should just, I think people should just be allowed to pursue the things that they want to do if they genuinely care about it.
I think that as long as, someone can respect something else for what it is and like appreciation can be shared. Like that's what it is. Like when you travel and like you try something and like, you're like, oh my gosh, where has this been my whole life? Like it's so exciting. And, this would segue into, you've been touring in Asia really often. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really special because of this separatist kind of dialogue that the U.S. is having with the rest of the world. And it's like, you're able to bridge this gap. And I'm wondering, what are your experiences like over there? Like, what kind of music is it you're playing? Like, is there like, what's the underground like? Why do you keep going back? And you seem to have a community out there, and it's really cool. This is also for many people probably their first time listening to many genres that you're playing.
Yeah, I would say like going out to Asia. So the internet just makes the world that much smaller. So it's like when you tap in with like-minded people, like I put out the record recently with OUB on Trekkie Tracks. We made that music while it was basically I got asked to play in Taiwan, and I said they were like, is there anyone you want to DJ with? It was like a New Year's show, and I said, well, Japan is right there, and I've been listening to Trekkie Tracks music for a long time. But I really enjoyed OUB's music. I mean, I like everyone on that label music. They all make, like, dope sounds. But I was like, I've been listening to OUB a lot. And I said, is there any way we could get him to come through? And he flew out. And we hung out, like, the few days that we were there in Taiwan. Very cool kid. And when you listen to the music, it's like, you meet him and he's very chill, like, low-key. But then the music comes on. It's like, oh, shit, this you? Like, it's just hype. And the sound choice, the sound selection. So it's like, when it comes to just the gap between like, I guess Asia and America, the internet makes things small. Like if you got a party series going on here, I promise you go to any city and just like reach out. There's someone doing the same thing you're doing, whether it's DJing, music, curation, artwork, and, you just gotta find your tribe and just kind of like, cultural differences are there, but at the end of the day, it's kind of how I was saying before, like music is always going to tie people back together somehow. Like there may not be a language, there may be a language barrier, but if you pull up with like a DX7, both people gonna look at each other like, oh shit, I know what this does, and you plug it in and you turn it on and you create, and you let the music come out and yeah, you almost always skip over the language barrier, and it's kind of like we know what we're doing in here. So, yeah, I think the internet definitely is helpful when it comes to bridging that gap.
I wonder if that speaks, like what you're talking about, like does that speak to your collaborative nature when it comes to just playing different sets with different people? Like I feel like, Witchcraft, Tim Reaper, Swisha, like, you know, you seem like down to do a back-to-back. Like, is this...
Yeah, I mean, the more music you listen to, then you start asking yourself, well, like, well, where is this from? Where's that from? Like, Swisha, we met on the internet, like, 2013, SoundCloud era, 2012, 2013. And I just enjoyed the music that was coming out from him. It was him, DJ Swaggy Dolphin, and another dude, Akira. Or maybe that was the same person. Yeah, I think I think Akira and Swaggy Dolphin was the same person. And then DJ Swisher Sweet, that was like back in the day. He actually got a cease and desist from Swisher Sweet. They sent him a letter like, you can't use Swisher Sweet no more. And they was like, yo, you gotta pay $20K or like we either take it down or 20 bands, something like that. But yeah, it was an era, it was a pocket. It was like I liked what they were doing. I sent a message and it ended up working out. And you know, he's been a good friend since that point. Witchcraft, like, has incredible music, and just him as a human being, as a soul, like outside of the music, he's just super chill, and we be kicking it. That B2B was like, we were meant to play back to back for another party, but schedule wise it ended up not working out. But I was like, yo, I really want to do this. Is there any way we could like still have it happen? And then yeah, we ended up doing that Bossa Nova, but it was like a little bit of promo time, 'cause I was just coming back from Asia, so I didn't really promote it well. Also, I'm not a promoter, so like I just posted the flyer, but it was a great idea. So a lot of people gravitated towards it. They was like, yo, I want to go and do that. And I think when it comes to like collaborating, I try my best to put things together that are unique. So to tie that back into what you was asking, like when it comes to music, I think the more music you play, the more music you enjoy and appreciate, you start learning like a lot of it is regional. Like if you like grime, you know, you have to tap in with London, but then like you go up north, like in the UK, all over the UK, there's different pockets of grime. Then you go through Europe, you know, it's just the beats are similar, the MCs are talking about similar vibe, but then it's like you're in Germany now, or you go to South America, there's the Brazil Grime Show, a lot of music coming from there. But you'll learn quick, like, okay, I appreciate this music, this sound, and this is where it started. And then 9 times out of 10, you know, you could look and be like, well, I really like what they're doing in this region, what they're doing over here, over there. Old, young, it's like a time thing, but then also location. But yeah, I think the more music you listen to, you're gonna have to like start doing the homework of like, well, who's this person? Who's this DJ? Who's this MC? Who's this curator? When they first dropped this tune, like what club was it at? What year? And when you start looking at it from that level, then you're able to go and say, I think I make sense over here talking to this person, trying to do this thing. Or, you know, I think it makes the collab make more sense when you do the homework first.
It's really interesting that you say this, because it's very indicative of that we're like children of the internet, you know? So it's like there has to be an intentional search being conducted in order to like get from point A to point B. And it's true. You don't want to show up like unprepared, because it's like the information's out there. Whereas before it was like you need to pull up in order to find out what's happening.
So like I look at it from the point of view, right? Like I was definitely an internet kid where like I had the AOL CD in the house, and it was just like I'd be on Instant Messenger. And, you know, the internet, it was like, yeah, it's like a place where you can engage and meet people. But then, you know, you definitely would be in a chat room and some dickhead would be in there on some timing. And you just had to be mindful of, like, who am I talking to, really? So I treat it the same way now when it's like when I'm out doing my thing and I'm just talking to whether it's artists, DJs, or whoever. I'm always mindful of, like, who I'm speaking to and what context I'm speaking to them in. Whereas, like, if it's an OG, if it's a legend, then, you know, I listen to them. I listen to their story. I take what's coming in. I take the information. And then you still have to go and do your own homework. You still have to go and research and do your thing. Same when you're meeting somebody new, up and coming. It's like, you know, yo, you got to fuck with me. And I'm like, well, why? And it's love. It's like I genuinely want to know, like, what what are we doing for us to be like less aligned on this thing? But yeah, we're children of the internet. But I just always tell people, like, you know, especially if you're starting out music, you know, the goal is to like say what up to everybody when you're first starting out. Like, I got to meet everyone, and then over time you start learning like, okay, well, because music is one thing, but as people, so it's like you start learning like, maybe I'm more of a out of the club person. Maybe I thrive in the club and I'm social, and that's where I need to be, and that's how I meet people. I like this sound. Let me find find your tribe. Let me find the people that are like trying to be a part of this thing or create their own thing. Or do you want to build your own thing? Do you want to be a part of something else? So I take children of the internet with a grain of salt. I'm always careful, but it is a powerful tool. If you know what you're looking for, you know who you're looking for, and you know if you reach out and they decide to like tap in with you, it's not a rare occurrence to have somebody tap in. It's just like rare for it to like transpire into, you know, yeah, that's how community is formed. But it got to be with real intention and rooted in something.
It's true. I also just feel like now there's a group for everything, you know, like
Yeah, definitely.
there's a niche, whereas before it's like, oh, you know, you're doing this thing, you're like listening to this person, like, okay, that's cool. And then you're
Right.
just kind of like,
Yeah, but I mean, if you put it out there, like, you know, you can type random shit in. Like, if you type like, I don't know, like hardcore, gabber, footwork, like some random, like something's gonna pop up. Like someone somewhere, there's some kid in a basement somewhere making that record, and it's like you wouldn't know that unless you go and look.
yeah,
So as niche and obscure some of the music is, it's like
it's out there.
it's out there. Yeah, you just have to find the people making it, and you know you might be going down a rabbit hole, but
You might end up listening to Toad AI videos.
Toad AI. Yeah.
I love Toad. In the spirit of Lent ending soon, what is a musical practice that you might have given up for a period of time, or that you think other people should give up for a period of time?
All right, first one, just stop idolizing people. Like, just fucking, if you like the record, then you like the record, cool. But I feel like a lot of shit be rooted in nostalgia or people that don't come from a period of time. Just stop idolizing. If you like the record and you think it's an incredible record, then that's one thing. When it's like, this is like the bread and butter of all, it's like, you know, you can feel how you feel. You can also like not tear other people down for feeling how they feel. Oh, excuse me. Feeling how they feel about like what they enjoy. Just don't put anything on a pedestal. Just kind of like listen, and if it's your vibe, then it's your vibe. If not, then the other thing I would say is I miss like when people just make the tracks like without considering, because it's two levels to this, right? So it's like if you're gonna like blow out the speaker, like, or go for that sound, do it like tastefully. Like, have it sound like, you know, I could still hear this in the club and get lit. But, yeah, sometimes people just be blowing out the speaker, and I'm just like, yo, this shit is not fun. Like, music should be consumed in a way that's like, and
Not painful.
at least have it where the next DJ or the next person can go and play, and the speaker isn't blown out. Those are my two things. Give up blowing out speakers, and then just like stop idolizing versus... There's a level of like appreciation where you cross that threshold, and then it's now, I don't want to say about like the word like glaze. Like, don't glaze nobody. Just if you like a record, you like the record, but don't glaze nobody. Or you can, just don't tell me. That's why I give up. Just don't tell me.
This sounds like etiquette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also annoyed. Like, just don't tell me. Yeah, don't glaze anybody. That's like a life thing. That's like, if you love someone, you appreciate what they do, but no glaze. Just, I said glaze too many times.
What song is like your spring hyperfixation? Like you listen to it a couple times a day?
Shit, I was just talking about it. I have it on Apple. It's Mariah Carey.
By Toad AI.
No. The Toad AI one I found random. It is Mariah Carey, Fly Away, but the Butterfly reprise. Yeah. It's a very beautiful song. That whole record is good, but yeah, Fly Away, Butterfly reprise.
Very spring appropriate.
It's nice, like, butterflies in the name. I guess it's like, when the weather breaks, everybody pop out the cocoon. But yeah, she has a very nice voice, and I just like the synth on it. The drums are like not abrasive. It's like mixed kind of quieter, so you get to hear the voice and the melody. But it's a very pretty song. It's like when you clean the crib, you clean your crib to that. Yeah. Like dance with the mop and shit. Like I got that vibe from it. It's like very, very like bright song.
Signs of aging.
Yeah, like I dated myself with that record, but it's timeless. It's timeless.
No, I just think about like the people in our age demographic who are like blasting the bachata classics on a Sunday and making their dogs like dance to them.
It's just that peace. Like it's a peaceful. I don't know. Like I like aggressive music. I like turn up shit, but I'm also like you have to be able to smooth it out sometimes and just like, yeah.
If you had to stop playing a genre for a month, what would it be?
If I stopped playing a genre for a month, what would it be? Footwork, probably. Footwork juke. I could chill on it. It took a lot of energy and like life, like health points. Like I look at life like health points sometimes. It took a lot out of me. But I still love it. I could listen to it all day, but like playing it out, yeah, I think that would be the one.
Any piece of advice for New Yorkers coming here? I feel like there's so many new transplants. What are they doing? I don't know. Any advice for them?
I would say it's kind of like the way you walking down the street, somebody walking slow with shit in front of you, or like you on the train and you lean up against the door because you know the train is going express and that door doesn't open until the express stop. But then like 20 people decide to stand in front of you and they're just talking like water cooler talk about how terrible their day was.
Yeah. A little too loudly.
Loud, yeah, just loud, like kind of in a way, like, and you're there quiet as a New Yorker, but you just like listening to it and kind of soaking it all in. And, you kind of just want to look at them and be like, yo, shut the fuck up. Or like, yo, get out the way. I would say if you're coming to New York and, welcome. I hope you're like bringing something through to contribute to the landscape. But also just consider the space that you're taking up and, figure out like how you can help build up New Yorkers here. Also, I don't know, just stop buying into shit that kind of ruins, like, don't enter the housing lottery if you move here. Like, don't do the lottery. Don't do that lottery shit if you come here. Like, is this camera? That's the one pointed at me?
No, the light died.
No, I'm saying this camera, though. Yeah. All right. Yo, don't do the lottery shit if you come to New York City. Please. Don't do the housing lottery if you are moving from Ohio, because now you're taking away an apartment from, like, one of the homies. That would be my advice. Also, I want to say something about deli sandwiches. They're not necessarily good for you, but, like, yo, stop. Don't come to the deli trying to, like, look at the menu and figure out, like, know what the fuck you want before you come in there. Because now you taking up my time. You taking up everybody else's time. Like, go home, sit, like, Google deli foods, like, figure out what you like. I'm pretty sure there's, like, a sandwich builder, some kind of, like, quiz you could take, like, what's your sandwich? Just do that shit before you go to the deli, because you in the way.
Yelp has the menus.
Huh?
You can check the menu on Yelp.
Nah, not in my hood. There's no, you walk in, sometimes the shit don't even be on. It's like, just, that, I guess that kind of goes back to the first thing I said. Like, just figure out the space you taking up. Try to be mindful of others. I know plenty of people that move to New York and they they build community where it's like they take care of, you know, the people coming in as well as New Yorkers. Thank you to y'all that do that. But yeah, I guess that would be my thing. Get out the way on the train. Know your sandwich order before you come into the deli. And just in general, consider your space and the space of others. Oh, and don't take the housing lottery slot. Like, it's kind of shitty if you move here and do that. Like, figure it out. Yeah.
Wise words. Then the last question is, who is someone in the space that excites you and why?
I would say you gotta tap in with both my cousins, Ta from Jersey, as well as Kush Jones. And I call them my cousins because they are. I embrace them as such. Ta, very incredible producer, Jersey club legend. I would consider him legend. And he's a man of the people. He's very, very Jersey, very Newark. And then Kush Jones, like, very incredible DJ. And it's just like when she plays, she's very excited. Like, you can tell, like, she's connected to the music versus, like, her playing tracks to, like, get the crowd up. It's like every song she plays, I see that she feels it. And it's like shit is, like, rooted in her spirit. So, yeah, there's a lot, but for brevity, those are my two.
We will find you and we will interview you if you're down. Thank you so much for watching Word of Mouth. This is Kush Jones. I'm Charlie, and we'll see you in an indeterminate amount of time. Thank you.